everyone, it's Kara here from Boho Berry, and I'm super excited today because I'm bringing you a brand new video that has been much requested, and that is a video to show you all of my bullet journal supplies, the specific pens, the specific rulers, the specific notebooks, etc. Everything that I use to make my bullet journal what it is. So I'm going to be going over all of this with you today. I hope you are ready. Let's go. All right, so the first and most obvious thing is the notebook, and most of you are fully aware that I am absolutely in love with my Leuchtturm notebooks, and I used an emerald colored one for my very first notebook. I also have this azure blue. I also own a large black Master Slim that I use as my blog and business bullet journal. And then I also have a lemon yellow Leuchtturm that I use for my job with Lisa over at Marketing Creativity. So this is definitely my notebook of choice. I absolutely love the dot grid of the notebook. And I've even set up a little page in the back where I'm going to do a pen test for you with all of the different pens that I use and recommend. But this is absolutely my favorite for many reasons. The main reason is that it has a built-in index in the front. So that is awesome. Everybody knows that that's one of the essential parts of the bullet journal system. And then it also has numbered pages, pre-numbered pages, so you don't have to worry about numbering them on your own. And that is awesome as well. So the Leuchtturm, this is the A5 or medium size, and this is absolutely my top recommendation for bullet journaling. I love it, love it, love it. All right, let's dive into some different pens, shall we? I'm gonna open this up to the back page here, and I have set up a little pen test for us. So we're gonna check out some different pens, and we'll show you how they fare in this notebook. All right, so the first pen that I use on a regular basis is my Faber-Castell PITT Artist pens. And you can see them here. I use the S and the F. The S is a 0.3 millimeter and the F is a 0.5 millimeter tip. Lately, I have been using strictly the S. I've kind of grown fonder of the thinner tip, so I'll show that one to you. What I love about these pens is that they're India ink, they're archival quality, and they are waterproof, which means if I wanted to, I could watercolor over them. Not that I do any watercoloring, but here we go. This is our Faber-Castell PITT Artist pen in S. And you can see it's a really nice, dark, bold black line, which is what I really love about these pens. It also does not bleed through to the other side. And this is one pen where I can color things in super dark and it does not bleed through. Normally with other inks, the more ink you lay on the page, the more likely it is to bleed through to the other side. That is not the case with these pens, and that's the main reason that I love them. All right, the next pens that I use on a regular basis are my Staedtler Triplus Fineliners, and I absolutely love these little pens. They are felt tip pens, they're 0.3 millimeters, and I use these for anytime you see color in my bullet journal, you are seeing these. So I'll just test one for you to kind of show you, but they've got this little felt tip, which I absolutely love. And that's the Staedtler Triplus Fineliner. And these come in all different kinds of packages. This is a 10-pack. They also come in 5-packs. They also come in separate little packs of different color schemes, I guess. So they've got all blacks, they've got blacks and grays. They have highlighter colors, like really bright, vibrant colors. So you can get these in all kinds of different pack sizes, and I love that. Another markers, these are not pens, they are markers that I use in my bullet journal often, is my Tombow dual brush pens. And I use these in my color index, which I did a little mini tip this past Monday. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But I use these in my color index, and that's these highlighter looking colors that you see on the right over here. So this is how they write. They're big brush pens on one side, and then on the other side, it's a marker tip. And I love these as well. These don't bleed through to the other side. So you can see there's no bleed through. There's definitely a little ghosting, and ghosting to me, it does not bother me. It's something I say all the time. People always ask me, where can I get thicker paper that you can't see through on the other side? Well, ghosting is kind of a natural thing on paper. For me, as long as it doesn't bleed through, I am a happy camper. Next, as far as pens go, I'm going to get into my fountain pens, and I'm going to go through these very briefly just to show you how they react to this paper. I'm going to be doing a much longer kind of intro to fountain pens video here pretty soon, so definitely stay tuned for that. This one is my favorite daily writer, and this is my TWSBI 580. And this has an extra fine tip, and I've just got plain old Noodler's black ink in it. And then what I like to do with fountain pens is kind of just do a test, make a really big dark line, and see how that goes. So I know how much ink I can let get onto the page. So if we flip to the back side here, you can see that even though I shaded that pretty heavily, you can still see it ghosting. There's only a tiny, tiny little bit of bleed through there. So that's one of the reasons that that's one of my favorite pens in the bullet journal. Next, I have my Metropolitans. This one is a fine. And excuse my handwriting, I'm writing at a very odd angle here. But this is my Pilot Metropolitan in fine. And the ink is Noodler's 54th. I'm probably going to spell this wrong, so I'm just going to say Mass, but it's 54th Massachusetts is the name of the ink. And I love it. It's like a blue-black, and I especially love it in this pen because it's super fine, and I don't know, I just love the look of it. Then I have my other Metropolitan, which is a medium nib Metropolitan, and this one I have inked up with Diamine Marine, which is one of my favorite turquoise colored inks. And you can really see the difference between the fine and medium. This one definitely lays down a lot more ink. All right. Oh, I forgot to do my little... All right, so that's a lot of ink there. That's a big blob of ink there. So again, I like to do that just to see how heavy I can go in any particular notebook. So looking on the back side, the 54th Massachusetts actually did pretty well, and the Diamine Marine definitely started to bleed through. So that's one that I would be really careful with in this notebook. I would make sure that I'm just writing with it and not necessarily coloring things in, etc. Next up is my Karas Customs Fountain K, and I absolutely adore this pen. I've talked about it in previous videos, but I have this one inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku, and it's another turquoise that I just really love. It's my Karas Customs. This nib, believe it or not, is an extra fine. But it's a German-made nib, which means that it's typically a little thicker than most others. And again, this is Iroshizuku. Kujaku. And I know this is gonna bleed. It writes so wet, puts so much ink down on the paper, but I love it. Okay, let's check it out. Yep, we got a little bit of bleed through. Actually, surprisingly, not as much as with the Diamine Marine. So there you go. And then my last one that I have here is my absolute favorite pen on the planet. This is my Visconti Van Gogh. And this my husband got for me for my birthday last year, and it's my baby. And I'm trying to remember what I have this inked up with. I believe it's Diamine Shimmering Seas. Yes. And you probably won't be able to see it, but it has this gorgeous, gorgeous sheen to the ink. It's almost glittery. Let's see if I can capture this on camera. Probably not. Yeah, probably not. But it's a gorgeous, like super dark bluish purple, and then it has these little gold flecks in it, which I absolutely love. And let's see how that held up to this notebook. Not too bad. Got a little bit of bleed through where I went heavy there, but otherwise it actually looks great. All right, so that is all of the different pens that I use in my bullet journals on a daily basis. Those are my absolute favorites. I'm sure that I will be adding more over time because I'm kind of addicted, especially to fountain pens. But just to give you an idea, that's what I use. And again, what I really, really, really use on a regular basis is my Faber-Castell PITT Artist Pens and my Staedtler Triplus Fineliners. The rest are kind of fillers whenever, if I want to decorate something or make a header a different color for some reason, that is what I would use those for. So, besides pen and paper, I wanted to talk accessories with you. And when I say accessories, I'm just talking about the supplementals. So, I have a lot of washi tape. Washi tape is a thing for me. I don't use it. I don't use it. For some reason, I just don't like the way it looks in my bullet journal, but I do have a lot of washi tape. This is just a small, teeny, tiny sampling, but I have loads and loads and loads of washi tape, y'all, but I really don't use it. Anytime I'm gonna decorate in my bullet journal, I simply doodle or draw or something along those lines. I really don't bother with that type of decoration. The other thing that I use on a regular basis is this guy. And you've seen this previously in my how to draw a mandala video, but I absolutely love this ruler. It's by Artist Loft, and it's clear and it's flexible. And what I love about it is that I can lay it across 2 pages, draw one big line across a spread. It's big enough to do whatever I need it to do. And because it's clear, it's easy for me to line up and make perpendicular lines. Now, that being said, I hardly ever use a ruler in my bullet journal because I'm kind of lazy and I don't bother. But I do use this ruler often in my blog and business bullet journal because that's such a large notebook. I often feel like I need a ruler for those longer straight lines. But I love it for that reason. And then the very last supply that some of you are probably going to be a little surprised by is my whiteout. And this is just your regular old Bic whiteout tape. And I use this quite often actually. When I make little mistakes here and there, it does not bother me. The tape is actually a little bit lighter than the paper. So I'll show you. So you can tell the difference. The tape is white, the paper is a little off-white. However, it really doesn't bug me, especially once I write over it. You really can't even tell. Let me see if I have a recent spread where I use that. I can show you. Yeah, actually right here. I started to write Friday's tasks on Thursday, so I had to white that out and start over. But did you see how hard it was for me to find that? Like if you're a perfectionist, and I am kind of a recovering perfectionist, it would drive me insane. But once you learn to kind of let that stuff go, you kind of start forgetting about it. You kind of start forgetting that the mistakes are even there to begin with. So those are my main bullet journal supplies, and I just wanted to walk you through them and kind of show you what I work with on a daily basis. And really, for the most part, it is this and this. And that is my bullet journal supplies, y'all. I do use the Staedtler Triplus Fineliners when I'm going in to do my color coding and things along those lines. But when I'm just sitting down to write in my bullet journal, it's just my journal and my black pen. That's it. Nothing more. You really don't need much else. And the one thing I really want to say is, although I just spent 10 to 15 minutes talking about my supplies, you really don't need much to get started. You can get started in whatever you have on hand. So I want you to know, like, if all you have is a 50-cent notebook from Walmart and a plastic Bic pen, that is okay. That is okay to get started in, to practice in, see if you like the bullet journal system. Once you know that it's going to be a thing, and if you can afford it, you can branch out and get nicer, fancier tools, but you really don't need them. You don't need anything. All you need is paper and pen to get started. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope that this kind of gave you a glimpse into what I use on a daily basis, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.